Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Digital Service Squad webinar. Thanks for joining us. And my name is Ben Frisch with the South Georgia Bay and Gray County Digital Service Squads. And we're joined today by Rochelle Reynolds and Amy Kells and Karen Gibson. And this webinar, of course, is brought to you by Digital Main Street and the Digital Main Street program, which is supported by the Ontario government, the Ontario BIA Association, and the Toronto Association of BIAs. And here locally, we are managed by the South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center in Collingwood and surrounding areas, and then also by the Enterprise Center of Gray County, manages our Gray County efforts. So as always, your digital service squad is very active in those two large areas, and we're always looking forward to connecting with more businesses, not only through webinars like this, but even one-on-one consultations and support. And we will have a booking link if you're interested in connecting for one-on-one services like help with your social media content, your accounts, with your analytics, your website. We do digital audits. The list goes on and on. So definitely, if your business is located in those areas, hopefully you can take advantage of our free service and support. So definitely recommend you do that. We'll put that in the chat. As we go along too, I want to mention that the chat is open. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in there. There's also the Q&A. We'll be monitoring both of those for any questions that you might have and try to address them as we go. And finally, I did want to just mention that, with this topic today of Instagram, Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, we wanted to mention that we do recognize that there is some concerns around privacy with some of these platforms, most notably TikTok, and just want to say that, this is not necessarily meant as an endorsement of these platforms like our webinar, but the reality is that consumers and businesses alike are already using these platforms, and our purpose here is to try and help those businesses make the most of their time and their content to reach more audiences, relevant audience members, and gain new customers. And so, we could certainly promote other alternative platforms. But again, the reality being that YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok are all in the top 6 social media platforms globally. Any alternative platforms will be reaching much smaller audiences. So as always, we recommend that you do your research and don't join any social media platforms that you're not comfortable with. And that's it. That's all I want to mention. My just kind of spiel off the top. And with that out of the way, I'm going to hand over to Rochelle to take us through our getting started with Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. Take it away, Rochelle.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Yes, so exciting day today, talking about all the short form video content apps that are out there. What a time to be alive. Okay, excellent. So yeah, let's start at the beginning, because the beginning is the best place to start. So short form video content, it's everywhere now. It started off really in the days of Vine videos, if we remember that. And it was honestly kind of a strange way of breaking into it. I remember when all of that was going down, I personally was like, this is so strange. What an odd fad. Like, I wonder what's going to happen here, right? Turns out everything happened here. It was absolutely an absolute viral sensation. It seemed to give everybody, and by everybody, I know that's a damaging statement, but it certainly seemed to give the young people of the world initially a real safe haven and a place where people really felt comfortable and wanted to contribute to that content and consume that content. So now fast forward to the 2020s, and we've got 73% of consumers stating that they would prefer to watch a short video to learn about a product or service over reading a blog. In some cases, even like scheduling a one-on-one sort of consultation or work through. And you know what, I think a lot of people can actually relate to that. I mean, it really becomes quite addictive to search for like those quick hits of information and those sort of like easy wins that we can build into our days, right? I mean, who doesn't find it helpful or honestly a bit of a relief, given all of our busy schedules, to be able to hear of something that interests us, like a product or a service or something, and be able to search and get the gist of it in like under 60 seconds. I mean, that is a huge advantage to how we're processing information and how we're sort of like categorizing how we're spending our time and energy these days. So this is really why the short form video content has taken such a hold that it has. This is interesting stuff. So this is why getting into short form video content is advantageous for business owners of all shapes and sizes. 59% of all videos released are watched for 41 to 80% of their length. That is incredible. You know, getting like, if you have been running a YouTube channel and releasing like longer form video content, and by that I mean anything exceeding, let's say 10 minutes or so, you know that the drop-off factor or basically the watch percentage is generally like half of that, right? Like, it is hard to get people to commit to more than 40% of any video content that's released, again, because people move quickly, and unless you're like really invested in that topic or that channel, it is very common to see that people are not sticking around for everything that you have to say. That's a generalization. Like, you know, we can fight about it in the comments if we disagree on that, but like the stats support me. And then the really cool thing is 30% of all short form video content that's released does have a watch length average of over 81%. So that means that if you're releasing something that lives in that, we'll say the 30-second to 10-minute mark, and I'll get into why I'm defining it that way as we get into this webinar a bit more, you will see that there's a high likelihood that people are going to stick around and check your video out for the duration of it, particularly if it does skew towards that like very short end of that scale there. So great opportunity to really capture people's attention and give them information that they either were actively looking for, or in the even better case scenario, they didn't even know they were looking for. That's kind of one of the big advantages there. You can convince people of a lot of things with a short form video. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about are Instagram Reels. So Reels were released in August of 2020, and honestly, I went back and sort of watched my first webinar where I talked about Instagram Reels, and like, Instagram Reels really proved me wrong. I definitely thought that Reels were going to be a bit of a fad. I thought, you know, this is just like it's a like shot for shot remake of TikTok. Like that is what Reels are. There's no getting around that. And I thought, no, there's no way, like TikTok has really cornered this market, and I'm not sure that Reels are going to be able to like keep up, let alone sort of surpass what TikTok has going on. But that they really have taken over, and it's quite impressive. Like now Reels are very much like a staple of the social media world. So here's the thing about Reels. They can be up to 90 seconds long. So Reels so far have really stuck to the super short form format. They have not sort of expanded beyond that. They perform best when using very high quality video and original content. So that is unique to the platform relative to something like TikTok, for example, that really relies on following trends and stuff. Instagram definitely is a trending sort of platform, and Reels do definitely follow the trending thing. But for the most part, successful content in the eyes of the algorithm and sort of in the eyes of users is content that is deemed original or that is not just exclusively hopping on a current bandwagon. Instagram Reels can be entirely managed in like within the app itself, or they can be created elsewhere and imported. So that's important when I talk about using high quality video. It is perfectly reasonable, and it is done a lot to like film your content with a high quality video camera or DSLR or whatever, and then put that into some kind of video editing software, create something really polished and high end, and then move it into the app. People do that a lot. You do not have to be tethered to your phone and creating exclusively through that. Okay. So we're going to go through the very practical brass tacks of creating an Instagram reel in case you have never done it before. And if you have your phone with you, you can follow along with me on here. So the first thing you're going to do is open your Instagram app. You're going to start a new post the same as you usually would. So just clicking on that middle plus button along the bottom of your screen. You're going to have options. So along the bottom there, you'll be able to toggle over to tell Instagram what you're creating. So whether it's a post, a story, a reel, a live, yeah. Once you select reel, you either create or import your footage. So if you're creating it, then that would mean you just like hit the record button, record whatever your reel is. You can keep redoing it. You can start and stop it. Like you can pause it if there's sort of layers to it. You have a lot of control over how you're creating it if you're filming it in real time. Or if you're importing it, then you just like select your camera reel button, and then you bring the stuff in over from wherever it's coming from. Then you add your music, your stickers, your text, all that. You basically just like follow the bouncing ball along your screen there. It'll say next. You select your music, it'll say next. Select your stickers, you add your text, whatever you want to do. You create your captions, so the same thing that you would do for a regular Instagram post. Yes, still use your hashtags. Yes, still include any links that you want to include. Treat the caption the same way as you would a post caption. But a tip that I always like to impart on people is this. You'll see when you're watching Instagram Reels that only a very small fragment of the caption will appear like easily or will be like visible on your reel, and then there'll sort of be the ... and all the rest of the caption is kind of hidden. So the best advice I have for you is keep your caption really short and snappy, so that all of it is like captured on that reel there without people having to like click on expanding your caption and having to read more. Like basically say what needs to be said up front and then expand on it later versus the other way around. And then you post it. Really, really easy. Now, it is important to mention as well that Reels can be created and released through Meta Business Suite. So if that's the way that you're managing your socials, you can absolutely do that. You don't have to do it like right in the app. You can do it through Business Suite, but there are some limitations there. So you don't have quite as much like post-production available to you. The stickers are limited. The music is kind of limited. Like it's not the same kind of like experience if you're doing it that way, but it is possible. Text with photos in Reels. Yeah, so when you're in the question is, can you discuss how to like line up text with photos or text with your content? When you are creating your text, basically it'll come up as like all in bars, and you essentially like click on one end of the bar and move it over to where you want the starting place to be, then click on the other end of the bar and move it over to where the ending place will be. So if you have like basically your video is like a 1, 2, 3 step thing, and you want to have like step 1 is here and it's at the beginning of your video, then you'd add your text, write whatever you want, step 1 blah blah blah. You would highlight or like click on the very end of that text bar that's going to come up, and you would scroll over to where you want that to end. Then for step 2, you do the same thing, highlight your text bar, move over the middle bit, or sorry, the beginning bit to where you want the new beginning to be, and same thing with the end bit. And then for your final step, it would be the same thing. You would create your text, slide the first part of your bar all the way over to wherever you need it to go, and then let that go. So that's how you like place your text there, and it's going to take some trial and error. I mean, that's one of the most frustrating parts of it is just how finicky it is, especially on a phone. Like it just feels like the bar is so much smaller than any human fingers are. So like it will take you some time to like get that timing sorted out and whatnot. So like definitely come with an empty patience pail when you try that the first couple times. It is something that takes a little bit of trial and error, but once you get it, it's actually quite simple. All right, so I answered that live. Done. The chat is popping
can I?
off.
Oh yeah, no, it's just someone asking about any freezing happening with the internet connection, but I think
Oh.
you're fine. I don't see any on my end. But I did want to mention just regarding, like, I can never emphasize enough the importance of captions, and just to clarify too, because Rochelle was sort of, it sounded like you were referring to the post copy as a caption, but when I talk about captions, I mean like the words that you're saying are showing up in text as you speak, and that really helps to ensure that people can watch it without audio, which is very common, and it's such an easy thing to set up and to even edit as you get those in, and yeah, I can't stress that enough. That I do like that Meta Business Suite, you can post your reels. So here's the thing too, you can post your reels to Instagram. You cannot schedule them in advance. I'm hoping that will change eventually, but as of right now, that is not a feature. Interestingly enough, you can schedule Facebook reels, which is a thing, which we're not really talking about today because it's a thing, but it's not.
But it's not a thing.
It's you know what I mean, it's another place to post that content. If I would say, if it's convenient, if you have it set up connected to your Instagram account, do it. Otherwise, don't go out of your way. But yeah, captions are amazing, and Meta Business Suite is handy to be able to post those reels if you're creating them. Like Rochelle was talking about, if your patience is running out using the app and trying to get timing right, you might have more success moving to editing those on iMovie or something, for example, and then uploading them uploading them with Meta Business Suite and going from there.
Here are some tips for awesome reels. So number one, focus on high res content. So what I find really interesting about Instagram is it has absolutely stuck to its guns as like the aesthetic social media platform out there. Like Instagram began as a place to post really pretty pictures, and they have never lost that. Like they have never strayed too far from that gold standard. So what I mean by that is, on the other platforms that we're going to be talking about today, so TikTok and YouTube Shorts in particular, there is a lot of love being given to raw footage, sort of found content, like stuff that's rough around the edges, right? Instagram Reels is a different story. Instagram Reels, like you can post that if you want to, like it's not going to be banned or not allowed to exist on the app, but you will notice a difference in how your posts perform if you are just throwing up that like raw content versus something that is properly filmed and edited, polished up, and really is like basically like filmmaker quality. You will notice a difference there, and the reason for that is because Instagram wants people to use their stories for that behind the scenes sort of look, like for the stuff that's like off the cuff or just sort of captured in real time, thrown up without a whole lot of editing and whatnot. That's where the platform wants you to put that kind of content. They want anything that's existing on your feed, so like your feed posts and now your reels, because that's where reels will end up, is on your main feed there. They want it to be like your best stuff. They want you to be like strutting your stuff and showing off your best self. So that is a huge tip there for Reels. Yeah, it is in your best interest to really take the time to ensure that what you're putting out on that platform in particular is visually appealing and is something that, you know, really catches people's eyes. It will make a difference. Keep your content original, no recycling. So what I mean by that is if you're releasing a TikTok and if you're releasing an Instagram reel, it is in your best interest to make sure they are not the exact same videos. Instagram Reels does not like if you are just taking a TikTok and then throwing it up on their platform as well, and vice versa. And the same, like that will be a tip that I get into when we get to TikTok as well. They both want to be your number one, and they want you to be prioritizing their platform over the other. So something to think about there. What do we do? How do we do that without like bending over backwards, creating doubles of the same thing? Well, ultimately it comes down to that editing factor. So think about maybe if you're on both of these platforms, maybe TikTok is a place for you to throw up some longer form stuff that maybe isn't as like cropped and polished and totally pristine. Like maybe you get into your content a little bit more, like you expand upon your thoughts a little bit more, and maybe Reels really just serves as like that best in show highlight reel kind of situation. That's a way around that. Maintain consistent scheduling. Above all else, the algorithm prioritizes accounts that are reliable. So if you want to release a reel every morning at 10 a.m., release a reel every morning at 10 a.m. You will see your content perform better over time, as opposed to if you're lax with your posting or you're kind of like all over the place with that. It really wants the consistency factor. And then finally, ensure you're speaking to the right audience. You can be creating some fantastic Reels content, but if you're speaking to the retirement community, it's not going to go that well for you, because like the retirement community still is not living on Instagram. That's not where they are. So Instagram is being heavily populated by the 25 to 34-year-olds, somewhere in there. Yes, there are more on either end of that. Like you know, anyone from like 18 to 25 is going to be on Instagram. Anyone from 35 to 40 is going to be on Instagram. Like those people do exist there, but the sweet spot is always going to be, well, is going to be the 25 to 34-year-old range for the foreseeable future. So, you know, ensure that your efforts are not in vain, right? If your product and your service is not for these folks, you don't need to be worrying about this too much, right? Like find where your people live and advertise to them appropriately. All right, moving on to TikTok. Released in 2018, TikTok was very much touted as a fad. I remember when it came out, like my friends and I like straight up laughed at it. We were like, this is silly. It's just trying to be Vine video and it's not doing a very good job. But my goodness, were we wrong about that? Because a little thing happened in 2020 called the COVID-19 pandemic. And my goodness, everybody went to TikTok. It suddenly became the like #1 social platform in the world, and it actually surpassed TikTok usage surpassed Google usage in 2020 or 2021. I can't remember which year now. Isn't that incredible? All right, so TikTok has come a long way. Now videos can be up to 10 minutes long. TikTok is essentially the new TV. That is the best way to kind of look at it. People are watching TikTok the way that families used to watch TV back when there weren't streaming services and everyone was just like tuned into cable or whatnot. People are loyal to their followers, and they essentially watch, like, you know, the Jordan the Stallion channel religiously. So like it's pretty amazing that way. And that means that if you have a successful TikTok following, like those people will tune into anything that you have to say, because like basically you've just uploaded a new episode of your personal TV show and people are interested in it. TikTok still, for the most part, perform best when riding trends and using trending music. And same with Facebook Reels, or sorry, Instagram Reels. They can be managed in-app or imported from elsewhere. All right. To create a TikTok, same thing. If you haven't done this before and you want to follow along, you can do that. Follow the bouncing ball with me. So the first thing you're going to do is open the TikTok app. You're going to touch the big middle button. You set your video length. So this is a way to manage it hands-free, so you don't have to have your hand on the button, which is really nice, particularly if you're making 10-minute videos. Now, if you are not seeing the 10-minute option, that is because you have not created enough TikToks for that feature to be unlocked for you. So basically TikTok for new creators only gives you like I believe it goes up to 1 minute. It may give you the 3-minute, but I don't think so. I believe it only gives you 1 minute to start with. And then as you release more content and as TikTok sees that like, oh, people are liking this, people are watching this, people are following you, they'll start giving you longer and longer videos to be able to upload until you get to the 10-minute option. So you set your video length, you film or import your content. So same deal as Instagram Reels. You can either film it in real time or you can import stuff from elsewhere. You add your text, your music, your captions, same thing. You just keep following those buttons and play around with it. You know, you can try different. You can try something different for every TikTok that you release. That's what I recommend, is like try some with music on them, try some without, try some with stickers, try some without, try some with the auto captions, try some without. Like see what works best for your particular account. You add your video description, which would be the same thing that I mentioned with Reels. So like your opportunity to sort of like expand on what you have. That's where you can link your products and services. You can give people calls to action. You can use hashtags, and then you hit post, and it takes you know, a few minutes to sort of get added to your feed, and then it's all over the world. Tips for awesome TikToks. So leveraging trends is a great way to go. This is a controversial yet brave statement, because as a content creator myself, and like a professional storyteller, I actually find it very frustrating that people are just jumping on these trends and doing the same things over and over again, and the world seems to be obsessed with it. Like that's a weird, that's just like it speaks to the weird time that we are all in as a society, to be perfectly honest. And I don't need to like, I won't stand on my soapbox here, but suffice it to say, like, if you can't beat them, join them. Trends are popular on TikTok for a reason. It's what people are interested in. People love the dance challenges. People love the dare challenges. People love just when creators are piggybacking off of other creators and tapping into a formula that is resonating and is popular in the moment. That's where we are right now, and that is what TikTok really gained success on. So while I absolutely support creating original content every single time and using your channel for your own good and the content that you want to release into the world, if your goal is to go viral, if your goal is to really grow your TikTok platform, you will likely need to you know, at least use some of that trending music or some of the advantages that are available to you. But with that being said, there's one TikTok account that is truly amazing. He rejected all of that advice, and he is one of the most popular TikTokers on well, in the world right now. He's got like 6 billion followers or something crazy. Like it's pretty out of this world, and he takes time to ensure that every single video that he creates is born entirely from his own imagination, and it's quite amazing. Is your name for your IG account or TikTok? I'm not exactly sure what that question means. If you can reframe, that would be great. Who is that? The big, I don't know. I can't remember his name. I've only come across his account once. What is my name? I'm confused. Like, are you asking me how people find you on these platforms? Oh, like, Yeah, no, it's I'm confused. Basically, people can people can find you by your handle, or people can find you by like the username that you use. Either one of those. So a good thing
Oh,
is keep it relative to your business. That's usually the best way to go, as opposed to like some weird, like, I don't know, Happy Pony 333 or something like that. It's hard
I
to
think,
find.
oh, your handle, like,
Oh,
yeah.
we don't need to get into that. That's fine.
Um,
All right.
well, yeah, no, I think
Um,
so. I was just gonna say, Be Fresh Media is on TikTok. I haven't posted in
yeah.
a while though. I'm guilty of, like, the typical not posting in a while, but um I'm we're getting back into it. So it's always a challenge, of course. We suffer from the same challenges as everyone else in just finding the time to post, but we've got a bit of a start there. So just I think it's just at Be Fresh Media, um,
Mm,
both on Instagram, on TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
yes. Yeah. All right. Build your account authority with native content, consistent posting, and no deleted videos. So that's a big thing. TikTok really gets cross when you release content and then take it away immediately. So that's something to bear in mind, is ensure that you have like crossed your T's and dotted your I's. If something happens, if you release something and you're like, oh shoot, this is really not what I want on my feed right now, like, yeah, take it down. It's your account, manage it the way that you want to manage it. But just know that TikTok is sort of watching for that, and they want accounts that stick to their guns, essentially. Native content, what do I mean by that? By native content, I mean exactly what I was referring to with Instagram Reels. TikTok doesn't like when you have created a reel and then you've just thrown the same thing up on TikTok. They know, those platforms know, and remember, they're competitors. Like one is trying to beat the other one out. So if you're creating TikToks, create your TikToks for TikTok and leave it there. If you're creating Reels, same thing applies. Now, again, it doesn't mean that you have to like not release the same sort of stuff. Like you can be like double dipping there, but there just should be something that is slightly unique to each of the videos that you're releasing on each of those platforms. It just shouldn't be like a carbon copy, like I created one video and I'm just throwing it up in both of these places. There should be something slightly different there. And again, the biggest distinction would be the length difference between TikTok and Instagram Reels. So to me, that's the most obvious kind of advantage you have on your side there, right? Follow up on successful content and fast. Yeah. If people are commenting, if people are liking you, if one video in particular has taken off, that's telling you something. That's telling you that people like what you're doing. So start churning out more content that follows the same sort of format. Reply to those comments, tell your audience that you appreciate them. Follow some of those people back, particularly if they have a lot of clout. Like if there are big accounts following you, it's great to stay connected with them and like build those social relationships. Absolutely, you can't sleep on it, right? You can't sleep on it once you get that hit. All right. Moving on to YouTube Shorts. Oh, we've got a Q&A, a bit related. How often should a business be posting posts, stories, reels? Is it okay to post the same thing as a story? I'm seeing some businesses hardly do posts anymore, but they are posting upwards of 15 stories at a time. Yeah, I mean, that speaks to like the phenomenon of short form video content and what is happening here, like what is trending in the world. So stories, it's a great idea to always have a story on the go. Lots of businesses are doing that. It's a great way for people to be able to like tune into your TV channel whenever they want, like essentially be that Rogers on demand, like 24-hour channel where something's always on the go. Reels and well, okay, so let's start with Reels. Yeah, posting daily is a great idea. It's not feasible for very many people. So as with all the advice that I give to so many businesses that I talk to about social media stuff, find what works best for you. If what you can commit to is one really well done reel a week, that's fantastic. You do that. Keep your story up to date and release some feed posts like in between there, like maybe 2 or 3 just like static photos or static feed posts, one good reel, and then a story that's updated all the time. That's a great amount of content that you're releasing, and that's a healthy amount that you are populating your account. Is it okay to post the same thing as a story? I mean, the answer is yes, for sure. But I'd say you need to give people a reason to keep coming back to your TV channel. And if you're just posting the same thing over and over again, but like as a reel and as a story, then it's like, well, I'm going to be bored with this channel, right? Because I just keep seeing the same episode. So you can repurpose stuff for sure. But the best thing is to use your stories organically and use your reels organically. And you can like beg, borrow, and steal from either one of them, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend just throwing a reel that you've created into your stories. Like that's not really going to be serving you. Okay, YouTube Shorts. So YouTube Shorts were a little bit late to the party, and to be honest, like I've only just gotten into them as a consumer myself. I don't subscribe to this as much as the other 2 things that we've talked about today, but like they're still there. And the thing about YouTube Shorts is they serve a very unique sort of purpose in the ecosystem of viral videos right now. So they were launched very softly in 2020 and officially in 2021. And they are described as a new way to express yourself in 15 seconds or less. So of the 3 options, YouTube Shorts are the absolute shortest. So basically you can release clips that are up to 15 seconds long, or you can create a 60-second long clip, but basically it's comprised of like 4 15-second clips like put together. Like you can't create like one continuous 60-second video. It's all based on that 15-second bite-sized package there. YouTube Shorts are excellent for gaining new subscribers to a main channel. Think of it as a commercial for your TV show. Again, like we have to really remember that like everyone can be a TV star in this day and age, and this is how you advertise your unique channel. Same as before, YouTube Shorts can be created in-app or imported from elsewhere. But we will get into that. There's one big difference between these 2 things, and we'll get into that in the next slide. Okay, so to create a YouTube short, we can follow along. You can either create a new channel if you don't have one, or you can add the Shorts widget to your main channel. So it is important to note that you cannot just release a YouTube short without having a channel activated. You can't just like go on and throw a short up. You need to have that widget activated, or you need to create a channel. You create your short, again, same thing, either import or create your content organically. You set your video length, so whether it's the 15-second thing or multiple clips smashed together into a 60-second video. You create your film or import your content. Oh my goodness. You can add your special effects. So this is one of the cool things about YouTube Shorts. So with TikTok and Reels, there are some like filters, effects, and stickers and stuff. But with YouTube Shorts, it's actually more like you have access to like a cool filmmaking, like editing studio kind of thing, where you can like add some proper special effects, which are really kind of exciting. And I haven't dabbled in that myself, but like it's quite cool. They really have some neat stuff on the go there. You save and edit your video, you set your viewing settings, and you post. So this is, the big thing that I wanted to touch on is the fact that shorts need to be created essentially the same way as a YouTube video. So it's not that you can just like post to your YouTube short channel and go the same way that you can for TikTok and Instagram Reels. You still need to treat it like an actual YouTube video. So like you have to set your privacy settings. Is it a public short? Is it an unlisted short? Like there are just a couple of extra steps there. And it's because YouTube shorts are simply a subset of a full YouTube channel. That might not sound like it's a bit difficult to explain unless you are comparing these three apps that we've talked about side by side, but you'll see the difference right away. Basically, it's like with TikTok and Instagram Reels, you are sort of like in control of releasing things in real time. With YouTube Shorts, there's essentially just like an extra step, and it's because it needs to be filtered through your YouTube channel. That's all I'm really getting at. You post it, it's out in the world, it does its thing. YouTube Shorts, an interesting thing, if you have created a YouTube video that is 60 seconds or less, it will automatically be uploaded as a YouTube short, and a YouTube short will not exist as a YouTube short if it extends beyond that 60-second time limit. So basically, like, you can't have one or the other. Either you've created a short and it lives in short land, or you've created a video and it lives in video land. All right, so tips for awesome YouTube shorts. Number one, use your short content to boost your main channel. Again, think of it as a perfect place to create commercials for your regular channel. Oh my goodness, I went away. Cut to the chase. You've only got 15 seconds, at most 60 seconds, and people are not interested in any kind of setup. Like it's best to hit with your best content right out of the gate. Otherwise, people are going to be scrolling through. Be very mindful of licensed music. So this is something that is very different from TikTok and Instagram Reels. TikTok and Instagram Reels, they love you using the trending music. They think it's great. They want it. They like it. I think they enjoy the kickback that they get from like helping the artists who create that music like do better for themselves. Not the same thing on YouTube. It's actually a big no-no. YouTube Shorts want you to be talking, like they want the focus of your content to be that creator sharing something or showing something. They don't want it to be based on licensed music. YouTube Shorts are a great place to test new content ideas for feedback. Again, if you're thinking about it as a TV channel that you've created for yourself, this is a place to basically like show off all your pilots. What are you thinking? What are you wondering if people are going to be interested in? YouTube Shorts are a great place for that. Tease some new things that you have coming up. Change up your style, your format. See if people are into it, right? They will let you know. And then think about replays. This is a huge tip. So YouTube Shorts play on a loop, right? A great thing to think about is like, how can you create a seamless loop of that video? People will sit there and watch your video on repeat over and over and over again. If it is a fascinating loop, if it's a fascinating loop, and if the replay factor is sort of on point that way, someone will watch your video like upwards of 100 times. And if it's interesting enough, they won't sometimes they won't actually realize that they're watching a replay, right? Like it's quite fascinating. If you can really drill down on that, it's a really a special way to rack up those views and just get people like absolutely infatuated with your content. So think about that. Is there a way that the beginning of your video and the end of your video can like dovetail each other or like blend seamlessly into one another? Because that's a thing that happens on YouTube Shorts.
Oh, can I just pop in there real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention too, with regards to creating YouTube Shorts, I sort of got into it what I might say the easy way, which is like I had a YouTube channel And I didn't get any widget that I know of. I didn't download an app. I just went to my video settings, like uploaded a new video. And what you do is you just, in the title of that video, as long as Rochelle said, it's under 60 seconds, you just include the hashtag shorts, like right in the title. Then it automatically gets put into shorts as well. And that way I didn't have to download anything else. I just could upload my content and see what happens.
Yes, correct. All right. So those are the 3 platforms in a nutshell. Now, Ben did mention at the start the fact that like there are some, I mean, yeah, there are privacy concerns, and you know, these platforms, all of them in a way feel kind of like the Wild West of social media. Like, yeah, there are things to think about. I basically, like, remember that as business owners, we all need to adapt to what is on trend in the world right now. And the fact of the matter is, these 3 platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, are 3 of the biggest platforms in the entire world right now. And short form video content, I'm sure it's like eventually it's going to run its course, you know, like anything else. Like time will change, and history will be the judge of what happens with these platforms and in the grand scheme of things. But this is where we are right now. This is the era that we're in. It doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. Can you run a business successfully without ever releasing a viral video in your life? Absolutely, you can. You can totally do that. But since you are all on this webinar interested in learning about this stuff, it stands to reason that this is something that you are interested in, and something that you want to know more about in terms of how you can leverage it for your business. So I'd say, you know, do what feels best for you. Nobody is forcing you to get on any of these platforms. Nobody is forcing you to use these platforms over other ones. There are other ways to advertise your business and to succeed in business. But, you know, we aren't doing ourselves any favors if we're trying to like pretend that these 3 platforms are not incredibly important to like the zeitgeist of our like entire human existence right now. Like, they're there. How does podcasting fit in here? Well, I mean, podcasts are a different sort of thing, right? So podcasts generally are audio based only, but people have really jumped on like the whole like filming their podcast and uploading that video side of things. So I know in YouTube Shorts in particular, podcasters are taking huge advantage of YouTube Shorts. I mean, they're posting, like, again, commercials for their upcoming episodes, right? So the best sound bites, the most exciting content, the most engaging part of their most recent podcast, they are clipping that out and throwing it on YouTube Shorts so that people can figure out, like, oh, that's what I want to tune into. Oh, that video is already up. Oh, that video is going to be dropping soon. Excellent. I got to go and check that out right away.
Yeah, I agree too. That recording your podcast is just gives you huge amount of content to pull from, to, you know, cut those short segments to then post as TikToks, Reels, YouTube Shorts to promote your full length content. So just kind of, as Rochelle mentioned, you know, think of it as like a commercial or a highlight, a preview of the bigger product.
And then there's a question: what type of industries and businesses work best for these platforms? You can make anything work. Honestly, I have seen some incredible content creators just like leverage the heck out of these platforms and stuff that you would not imagine would be so successful is just like killing it. So examples that come to mind in the like home reno and sort of like handyman space, there's the stud pack. That channel is extraordinarily successful. In like the beauty, like makeup and beauty scene, those, oh my goodness, those industries excel on these platforms because like it's really easy to film a high quality video of yourself using your own product and how great it makes you look. Like that content sort of like writes itself. You can also do like product reviews. That's a great way to do it. The health and wellness space exists or is doing very well on these platforms because like throwing up you know, a fitness tip is a really easy thing to do. Talking about what's happening in your industry and like offering your opinions on it, that's a great way to use these platforms, like basically offering your own take on a popular subject matter that you know a lot about. That's a great way to do it. Honestly, like food and beverage does really well. Anything that I'd say that the industries that stand the greatest chance of doing really well on these sorts of programs are the ones that help people like harness a shared experience. I think if you boil it down, that is sort of the common thread here. Everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to exercise, everybody wants to look good, everybody wants you know, a home and a lifestyle that they can be proud of. If you can think about how your business fits into that and how your business improves people's quality of life in some way, like to get like super sort of like high level philosophical about it, you know, it all goes back to like, what is the problem that your business solves and why is that something that people need to know about, right? That's kind of like, for me, the crux of the issue there.
I would add, oh, sorry, can I just add to that too?
Yeah.
I would say too, like one really important thing to think about, you know, and Rochelle talked about it earlier too, is just like, who is your audience, right? One of the challenges I think that that most businesses face, you know, when they have a more localized audience is that when you're, you know, when you're producing content on social media, it goes out to essentially a global audience, right? You don't have necessarily a control over who's seeing it, who you're interacting with. Are they actually your customers? There's a big question mark there. And so I think, you know, to sort of continue to respond to that question of what industry is best suited. I mean, definitely retail is perfect. You know, if you can ship your products globally, then you want to speak to a global audience, right? It's definitely a tougher question when you're in like a, you know, service-based industry and you're focused on local clientele, for example. You know, you really have to ask yourself, like, is it worth it to put out all this content for a global audience when I, you know, I can only service clients locally? And that's, you know, really the question you have to ask yourself. I mean, you know, Rochelle pointed out an example of like a construction or you know, contractor account. To me, there's like, that's a tough one too, because it's like, you know, they can't obviously service their 500,000 followers, you know, in other countries, like, but I think when you get to that point, you're sort of doing it for other reasons, right? Like you're maybe generating revenue from your content, and that's not necessarily everyone's goal. Definitely, I mean, not most people's goal at the end of the day.
Yeah. So yeah, in summary, I know there are a couple I know there are a couple questions and I will get to that, but I just want to wrap things up since we are coming up to the hour here. So yeah, in summary, we need to just like accept the fact that Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts are here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future. There's a massive opportunity to discover new audiences and build brand loyalty because people are looking for new TV shows to watch, and you are the latest and greatest TV show and TV channel that has been released to the world. Each platform does want native content, so don't just recycle. We've talked about that for years and years. Like one post does not fit all. The same applies to this. So this short form video content that can live in a variety of places. Consistency is key to competing with the algorithm. And remember, this is the new TV. We cannot escape it. All right. Questions. So I'm going to flip over. So there are a few things. Hold on. I got to get caught up here. Susan would really like some help. Okay, excellent. It sounds like you need to book a consult with your digital service squad. It sounds like that is what needs to happen. And so the link is in there. Teresa is asking, is it better to have a monthly plan of these videos or respond to what's happening that week or day? The answer is both. Absolutely have a content calendar created, have an idea of what it is that you want to spend your month, your quarter talking about. Like, we're sort of in like spring, summer now. So I don't know what your business is, Teresa, but say, for example, you own a clothing store. It would probably be a great idea to devote your spring season to releasing short form video content that introduces people to a new spring trend every single week or something like that. And that's how you're using your spring quarter, or on a monthly basis. If it's like, I want to commit to releasing one reel a week. Excellent. What does that look like for the month of May? What makes the most sense for your business? Now, it is like the art of the pivot does come into play here. So yeah, it is absolutely great to be releasing sort of like that planned kind of evergreen content, but it also is really great to stay in real time and in real dialogue with your audience, right? So if something relevant to your industry occurs today, yeah, absolutely take time to release a video in response to that, or something that demonstrates, again, like your knowledge, your authority on the subject in real time. It shows that you have your finger on the pulse. It shows that you are keeping up with the greater discussion, and it gives your content a greater chance of going viral or performing better, because like that's what people are currently talking about, right? So yeah, the answer would be a combination of both is best if it's manageable. If not, then absolutely, your content calendar is your friend, and whatever schedule you stick to, do your best to really stick to it in earnest. All right. Are there any other? We are at 11:01. Does anyone have any other questions or anything before we wrap things up for today?
It's also great to keep track of your analytics as well, like as in create your own, maybe even an Excel spreadsheet, just to see what's working for you this year compared to next year, or month to month, to see what works as well. Just a tip. Definitely.
Thank you, Amy. Yes, for sure. And all of these platforms can come with fairly sophisticated, oh my goodness, analytics. That's the word I was looking for. So you don't have to stray far to find that information. Like it's not some hunt for the holy grail. Like you literally you can look at each video and see the views that you get, the drop off rate, all that sort of stuff right in those respective apps. All right. Well, it is 11:02 and I'm not seeing any other questions come in, so I guess we'll call it there. Thank you so much, everybody. It was super fun talking about the wonderful world of social media with all of you. Oh, we've got to. Oh, yeah, we've got to thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Rochelle. Yeah, that was excellent. Amazing. And thanks for everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Hopefully, be sure to register for more upcoming webinars. And like we said, book that one-to-one consultation if you have any further questions, need help with any of your digital marketing. That's what we're here for. So bye for now. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Bye.